Episode 2 Main Character. The train came to a stop about halfway across Stonko Bridge. Goodness. The few surviving passengers got up and looked outside. Seoul in ruins and covered in fallen buildings. Gigantic serpent-like monsters devouring the wreckage of a crashed fighter jet. What are those things? I recognized them right away. Angler dragons. They were commonly known as sea serpents. In the future, these creatures would be classified as level 7 monsters. One of the angler dragons turned towards us. "Ah! It's coming!" the survivors yelled in terror. But I calmly watched the fearsome creature swim towards us. I knew it wasn't a threat to us. The sea serpent roared and spun around Dongo Bridge. Then it disappeared underwater, leaving bubbles in its wake. In the world of TWSA, the scenarios took priority above all else. That means we'll be protected as long as we're playing our parts. Those monsters won't attack us. Not now, at least. Ding! Due to an unexpected review of the scenario, the calculation of your rewards is being delayed. Thank you for your patience. The reward should have been distributed by now. But there was nothing but this error message floating in midair. It was probably because of me. I looked at Namun Kim's headless body. According to TWSA, he was supposed to kill most of the people in this car and move on to the next scenario. But I'd stopped that from happening. If I was right, it was about time for them to appear. The ones who were angered by Namun's death. Ding! 2 constellations expressed displeasure with you over the death of character Namun Kim. Constellations. They were the most mysterious beings in the world of TWSA, the masterminds behind all its tragedies. Seeing the messages of their reactions reminded me that the main game was about to start. What a joke. Just yesterday, I had been the one reading about them, but now our positions had flipped. Ding! A small number of constellations are impressed by your scenario. They have donated 500 coins. Just as some despised me, others liked what they were seeing. I wasn't happy with either of those prospects, but there was nothing I could do about it at the moment. After all, I was their clown now, forced to dance for their entertainment. As I picked up Namun's Swiss Army knife from the ground, I thought to myself, watch me all you want. Eventually, you will be paying for it with your lives. Toksha, are you okay? I looked up to see Sanga's face, shoulders drooping listlessly, blood stains on her white blouse, torn stockings. The Sangha Yu I'd once known was no more. I took her hand and stood up. I'm sorry, I couldn't save the old lady. I looked down at the old woman's headless body. I didn't even know her name. From here on, countless people would die like this. Sangha looked torn as she gazed at me. Toksha, how are you able to... Never mind. Anyway, thank you for, earlier. For what? Earlier you. Then I remembered. Sangha had been standing near where I'd thrown the bug cage. I knew what she was thinking. It was just a coincidence. Don't expect it to happen again. Oh. She nodded without saying a word. I couldn't tell what was going through her head, but she was a smart woman. I was sure she understood. Some had lived, while others had died because of my choice. I didn't deserve any thanks from those who'd survived. Whoa, this is crazy. The goblin appeared in midair with a crackling noise. What on earth happened here? I was checking up on another car for just a sec and... The goblin's face was a mixture of joy and shock. There were star-like points of light floating above its fuzzy head. I counted how many there were. 1, 2, 3, 20, 21. 21 in total, huh? No wonder that bastard looked so pleased. I can't believe 21 of you are tuning in. Is this my lucky break? Oh, a donation even. Thank you, Constellations. Everyone, looks like you earned your keep. The number of stars represented the number of constellations who were tuned in to the channel. 21 wasn't a lot, but it must have been a record for this rookie goblin. Well, that's quite a lot of survivors. That guy in the next car was one crazy bastard, too. Got some great stories today. The goblin gloated, then fiddled with some invisible controls. Soon, the list of survivors came up. Ding! Survivors of Train 3442 to Bulgwang, Car 3807, Doksha Kim, Youngsung Lee, Sangha Yu, Gilyoung Lee, Myunggo Han. Total, 5 survivors. 5 survivors. More than I expected. I scanned their faces one by one. I'd known Hyungsung would make it because he was strong and athletic. I'd expected Sangha to survive as well. And Gilyoung Lee. I surmised that was the name of the boy standing next to me. There was a crushed grasshopper in his hand, the one I'd given to him. The boy stared silently at the headless corpse of his mother. She had abandoned him to join in the killing of the old woman, and he had watched the whole thing. I hesitated for a bit, then put my hand on his shoulder. This wasn't some cheap sympathy. If I had to describe what I was doing, I'd call it hypocrisy. Hey, kid. The boy slowly looked up, his eyes filled with fear. The shock of his first brush with death hadn't worn off yet. Do you want to live? His pupils shook nervously. His body trembled as if he was trying to resist an irresistible power. Then, almost imperceptibly, he nodded. Then come with me. Gilyoung scurried over and clung to my leg. Sangha watched this moving scene with a tender expression. Seems like I've caused another misunderstanding. Well, I had meant to make a show of it, though not for Sangha. Ding! A small number of constellations are touched by your kindness. They have donated 200 coins. Some might have called it a dirty trick, but what can I say? I had to do everything I could to survive. Considering the crucial event that was coming up, now was the time to get the constellation's attention. Someone shouted, Then, are you letting us go? We did as you told us to, didn't we? It was Myunggo, who was standing a few feet away from me, his shirt in tatters. Manager Myunggo Han. He was one lucky guy, I'll give him that. But I was puzzled. What was a rich man like him doing on a subway train anyways? Just a short while ago, he'd been bragging to the whole company about his new Mercedes. Let you go? Have you looked outside? Sure you want to go out there? The goblin chuckled. Anyway, I'm quite impressed, to be honest. I didn't expect much from this car, but you made it past the first scenario. You've shown me that even insects deserve a chance. Its words reminded me of the position we were in. You were nothing but grasshoppers in the goblin's eyes. Now, you should be rewarded for pushing through, right? For clearing the first scenario, you've earned the privilege of being sponsored by Constellations. Wow, isn't that exciting? You don't seem very excited. This is a huge deal, you know? Of course they weren't excited. Constellations, sponsor. I was the only one here who knew what those words meant. And I knew exactly what the goblin was leading up to. Sponsor selection. One of the key events in TWSA was about to begin. Everyone looks confused. Let me explain. You're very weak right now. Pathetic, really. If you go into the next scenario in your current state, a ground rat would easily kill you. Never mind a crook. But thankfully, there are great and magnanimous beings in this universe who pity you, and are willing to sponsor you. Now do you get it? Hopelessly lost, Hyungsung blurted out. What does any of that mean? Who's sponsoring who? Seriously? This is not rocket science, damn it. Fine. I'm not going to float here explaining all day. Why don't you just see for yourselves? Well, I guess some of you won't even get the chance, but whatever. I tensed up with anxiety. This is where it all starts. I need to make the right choice here if I'm going to survive. Dokja, something just popped up. 2 weird choices? I don't know, you're on your own. Of course, that was a lie to avoid suspicion. Still, 2 choices? I guess Sangha had gotten lucky too. Don't stress over it too much. Think of it as an aptitude test. An aptitude test. No one really knows what's going on, so let's keep an open mind and roll with it. Oh, okay. That seemed to convince Sangha, and she stared intently at the empty space in front of her. Her brow furrowed as if she were trying to decipher a cryptic horoscope. Everyone else had gone quiet too. They were likely reading through their choices. I turned my eyes back to my own options as well. Ding! Sponsor selection. Choose your sponsor. The chosen sponsor will be your trusty supporter. 1. Abyssal Black Flame Dragon. 2. Demonic Judge of Fire. 3. Secretive Plotter. 4. Prisoner of the Golden Headband. 4 choices that sounded like riddles. This meant that 4 constellations wanted to make me their incarnation. Considering the main character of TWSA got 5 offers, 4 wasn't bad at all. And what really mattered wasn't the number of choices, but the cryptic words next to those numbers. Constellations never revealed their true names. The trick was to consider keywords, such as abyssal and demonic, to deduce their true identities. Of course, this was a piece of cake for someone like me who'd read the novel. First, abyssal black flame dragon. According to my memory, this was a powerful being at the head of the Black Cloud, a syndicate of constellations. I couldn't remember its true name, only that it was extremely long. A contract with this constellation grants a powerful boost to one's combat abilities, making it a great option early on when you're sorely lacking in stamina and strength. Of course, this early advantage doesn't come without a price. Using this constellation's power gradually pollutes the mind, eventually turning you into a psychotic murderer. It had an affinity for delusional edgelords. I thought it ended up being Namun Kim's sponsor in the novel. Too shady, I'll pass. Second, demonic judge of fire. I was kinda moved that this one was on my list. Their epithet had some sinister words in it, but the term demonic was a trick. If you think about it, demonic means it's not actually a demon. And then there are the keywords fire and judge. In summary, it's a being that passes judgment with fire. Ironically, this constellation was an angel. If I remembered correctly, it was the Archangel Uriel. Not a bad choice at all, but I'll hold off for now. Constellations of the absolute good alignment are powerful, but also come with a slew of ridiculous restrictions. Third, secretive plotter. Even I had never seen this one before. It might have been mentioned in passing, but I wasn't sure. Maybe I'd find something once I gave TWSA another thorough read. What was clear was that they probably weren't that strong. Putting aside the weak-sounding descriptors, the names didn't seem to have any ties to a major legend or myth, as far as I could tell. Secretive plotter? It didn't have the gravitas of an epithet describing a powerful constellation. Pass. And lastly, prisoner of the golden headband. My heart skipped a beat as soon as I saw the 4th choice. I couldn't believe I'd gotten an offer from this one so early on. I thought I might have read it wrong, but no. There was no mistake. It was prisoner of the golden headband. Prisoner didn't sound that great at first glance, but the proper noun was the key here. The golden headband. Smallest prison in the world. Anyone who'd read Journey to the West would have gotten the hint easily. In all the folk traditions and literature in the world, there is only one being imprisoned by a golden headband. The master of Mount Wago, who suffers from the pain of a fetter squeezing into his head. The handsome Monkey King with fiery eyes and a golden gaze. The great sage Heaven's equal, Sun Wukong. There was a character in the novel sponsored by this being, the mighty constellation who swept away hundreds of incarnations with a single swing of his golden staff and slew thousands of monsters with a bolt of lightning. I still got goosebumps thinking about the author's vivid description of his prowess. I wasn't sure why this powerful constellation had taken an interest in me, but I knew that if I had the great sage Heaven's equal as my sponsor, I could easily survive this new world. However, I quietly stared at the door which connected our car to the one in the front of ours. I could picture him standing past that door, reading through a message similar to the one that I was seeing in front of me. If I chose the great sage Heaven's equal, would I be able to beat him? Ding! Sponsor selection will end in 1 minute. Time was ticking. I took a small breath as I looked over my choices one last time. It didn't take me long to make a decision. Ding! Sponsor selection has ended. I took a deep breath and read the message that popped up. Ding! A number of constellations are shocked by your choice. Here we go. Ding! Constellation Abyssal Black Flame Dragon is furious about your decision. Constellations affiliated with Black Cloud share Abyssal Black Flame Dragon's anger. You will not receive donations from them for a time. No surprises there. I'd known they'd react this way, turning his whole posse against me just because I'd rejected his offer. That was Namun Kim's original sponsor, all right. A constellation like incarnation. Ding! Constellation Demonic Judge of Fire is disappointed in you. She will closely monitor your sense of justice from now on. Archangel Uriel was simply disappointed. It was rare for constellations of the absolute good alignment to outright hate someone unless they committed some grave sin. Ding! Constellation Secretive Plotter is intrigued by your choice. They have donated 200 coins. I wasn't expecting Secretive Plotter's reaction at all. Judging by their epithet, perhaps they thought highly of my shrewdness. Ding! Constellation Prisoner of the Golden Headband is amused by your choice. And the Great Sage, Heaven's Equal. I didn't know how to feel about this one. Had I made the right choice? I wasn't sure. I might have squandered an incredible opportunity. Ding! You have not chosen a sponsoring constellation. Having a sponsor could be a great boon, but it also limited your potential. After all, a contract with a constellation wasn't a fair agreement. I'm going to survive, but I won't do so at the cost of becoming their plaything. And if I was right, there were other ways to gain power without choosing a sponsoring constellation. Perhaps even stronger than those with top-tier sponsors. Oh boy, someone has made an interesting choice. I see. Well, all right, there will be another chance. The goblin's eyes narrowed, then lingered on me for a moment. Well then, you've made your selections, so why don't you take a quick break while I prepare the next scenario? See you in 10 minutes. Once sponsor selection was over, the goblin disappeared. Although it had said to take a break, these 10 minutes would be crucial. I had to use that time to take stock of the situation and prepare for the next scenario. Character profile and Omniscient Reader's Viewpoint. I still wasn't sure exactly how to use them, but I had a decent grasp on what they did. That was enough for now. Please, gather around. The survivors who had been eyeing each other nervously came together at my words. Hyungsung Lee was the first to extend his hand and introduce himself. Hello, I'm Hyungsung Lee. I'm Dokja Kim. I wish it had been under different circumstances, but it's nice to meet you. As I said, I'm a soldier, or, rather, I was one. Still can't contact your unit? No. I could feel his strength through our firm handshake, as expected of a top-tier vanguard in TWSA. I had to get Hyungsung Lee on my team no matter what. He may not look like much right now, but he's a crucial character in the latter parts of TWSA. Oh, and, Dokja. Yes? Thank you for earlier. We'd all be dead if it weren't for your actions. No, that was... Even if we'd survived, we would have lost our humanity. Thank you again, and, I'm ashamed. Hyungsung made a bow in gratitude. I felt a bit torn. After all, this man would have survived even if I hadn't done anything. Just then, someone grabbed my shoulder. That's our temp for ya. Good job. You know who I am, right? I could tell who it was without even looking. I took his hand off my shoulder as I spoke. Yes, Myungo Han. Excuse me? That's Manager Han to you. Even in this situation, this guy's trying to assert his seniority. That's Myungo Han, all right. Not at the office, in case you haven't noticed. You trying to get fired? Did nobody teach you manners? Watching his tantrum hammered home the fact that the world I'd once known had truly ended. This man had been a predator, the top of the food chain before the scenario began. I hadn't been nothing but prey at the mercy of his kind. That was how it had been just a short while ago. Don't get me started about that nonsense earlier. You should have told me about the bugs first. How could you just throw them? Get your priorities straight, Dokja. You'd do well to get in my good graces. Your contract is up soon, isn't it? Don't you know what a crucial time? It's funny. The structure of the world I lived in was such a fragile thing. Myungo. Huh? Shut up already. What? Do you still not get it? Maybe I should have let that kid beat some sense into you. Minosoft? Look outside. You think that company still exists? Myungo turned pale. Mouth agape like a fish out of water. I turned towards the others. I needed to make things perfectly clear to everyone else, too. And not just Myungo. You all need to wake up. As the goblin said, this is not a joke. I'm sure you've realized by now. Attribute menu, exclusive skills, and interface like a video game. Is there anyone who hasn't figured it out yet? As I expected, no one raised their hand. Internet and technology were a major part of daily life in Korea, so most people had played an RPG at least once. Even those who hadn't must have read fantasy novels or webcomics. Hyungsung sighed. It's just like the novels I read during night shifts. I still can't believe it. Am I dreaming? No, this is real. At my dry response, something seemed to shift in his eyes. Ding! Character Hyungsung Lee feels a faint trust towards you. Your understanding of character Hyungsung Lee has increased. He nodded. You don't mince your words, I like that. Then what should we do next? Do you have something in mind, Doksha? We need to get out of here, I replied without hesitation. Go out there? Are you crazy? Doksha, I also think that's a bit. Even Sangha agreed with Myunggo this time. They still don't get it, huh? And how long do you plan to stay here? It was true that my suggestion must have sounded illogical. After all, the area around our train was crawling with monsters. But I knew that we needed to leave. Aren't you worried about your parents? Do you think they're safe with all this going on? I've been trying to call them, but the lines are down. Text won't go through either. It seems parents was the magic word. Sangha's, Hyungsung's, and even Myunggo's faces darkened with concern. Gil-young stared at the ground without a word. I quietly put my hand on his small shoulder. It was Sangha who broke the silence. Let's go, we need to leave. No! Didn't you hear what that thing said? It told us to take a break. We'll have our heads blown up if we don't do as it said. Let's vote on it. Sangha put her hand up first, followed by me, then Gil-young. And that was it. I do want to go back to my unit, but it seems too dangerous to go outside right now. Not to mention the creature's warning. Leave if you want. I'm not moving, not an inch. I didn't care about Myunggo-han, since he'd be useless anyway. The problem was Hyungsung Lee. I needed to take him with me no matter what. Then there came a loud thud, and the sound of crumpling metal. The door connecting our car to car 3707 was starting to get bent out of shape. What was that? Myunggo yelled in panic, but the noise continued. Wham! Someone on the other side of the door was trying to break it. My head began to spin at this unexpected situation. Is it time for the next scenario already? Can't be, the goblin hasn't returned yet. That means I rapidly narrowed down the possibilities until a chill went down my spine. It's him. What are you all doing? Block it! Myunggo shouted as he backed away from the door. Hyungsung moved toward the door until I stopped him. You can't, it's no use. What? We need to leave now. I stared at the steel door nervously. But if we stay here, the sole survivor of car 3707, it was painfully obvious who was behind that door. We'll all die before the next scenario even begins. That's right. He's finally coming. The real main character of the story.